Welcome to Africa Today. I am Jessica Magaji Joseph. First, the headlines. President Tinubu to visit China seeking economic cooperation. Governor Ododo appoints new 12 permanent secretaries in Kogi. NAFDA clarifies saccharin use in bread production. And the sport, MPFL increases March official salary. Now the news in detail. Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu will meet Chinese leader Xi Jinping during a visit to China next week to discuss cooperation on the economy, agriculture, and satellite technology, according to the presidential spokesperson on Tuesday. Tinubu, who has set in motion deep reforms in Africa's largest economy, will be in Beijing along with other African leaders to attend the China-African Cooperation Summit. Tinubu's agenda in China will include site visits to two major Chinese companies and the China Rail and Construction Corporation, as Nigeria looks to complete a high-speed rail line linking Ibadan in southwest Nigeria to the capital in Abuja. Tinubu will also meet with 10 CEOs of major Chinese companies across information and communications technology, oil and gas, aluminium production, seaports and harbour construction, financial services and satellite technology development. Kogi State Governor Ahmed Ododo has approved the appointment of 12 new permanent secretaries in Kogi State Public Service from their respective constituencies to fill in the available vacancies. A statement issued by the head of service, Elijah Ezenini, said the governor emphasized the fact that the permanent secretaries have been carefully selected based on merit, fairness, and justice. While congratulating the successful candidate in his office, the head of service, Elijah, charged the new permanent secretaries to live up to expectations in the discharge of their schedule with utmost loyalty, dedication, and uprightness. The chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Privatization and Commercialization, Hamisu Ibrahim, has pledged the commitment's resolve to work with relevant committees in the House to pass legislation on electricity theft in the country. Speaking when he led other members of the committee on an oversight visit to the Eco Electricity Distribution Company in Lagos on Monday, Ibrahim decried the rate of electricity theft in the country, saying the legislation would check the abuse. In a statement by the head of Public Communications Bureau of Public Enterprise, Amina Usman, the chairman called for collaboration between the committee and electricity power companies for effective and efficient power supply in the country. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control on Tuesday refuted claims made in the recent statement suggest that Nigerians should avoid bread due to the alleged use of saccharin in its production. In a press release signed by the Director General of NAFDA, Christina Adeyeye, the agency clarified that the statement does not reflect the agency's stance. While it acknowledged that the use of saccharin in bread is not permitted by the Nigerian Industrial Standard or the Codex General Standard for Food Additives, NAFDA emphasized that it has not advised consumers to avoid bread. Adeyeye stated that the agency remains committed to safeguarding public health and will continue to take appropriate action against any baker found to be using unapproved food additives. When we return, news from other parts of West Africa. Please stay with us. Welcome back. The Director of Elections for the National Democratic Congress has raised concerns about the credibility of the Electoral Commissioner's voters registered ahead of the upcoming December 7th election. Edward Omani, in a social media post, claims that the current register is unfit for purpose and calls for a forensic audit or thorough parliamentary investigation to address what he describes as incurable defects, defective and unmanaged. According to him, the EC failed to release the voters register to the NDC on time before the exhibition exercise, a move he believes was benefit. Despite this, he says the NDC's diligence and scrutiny during the exhibition exercise have revealed several issues with the register, if not resolved to jeopardize the 2022 of the 2024 elections. Africa is seeing a rapid increase in mpox cases, with nearly 4,000 reported in the past week. The continent's public health body said Tuesday, as it defeated the need for long-awaited vaccines, whose arrival this week in the most affected country, Congo, has been delayed. It's one death from mpox reported in Africa in the past week, bringing the total cases and deaths to 22,863 and 662,000 respectively. Jean Katia, head of the African Center for Disease Control and Prevention, told an online briefing. About 380,000 doses of mpox vaccines have been promised by Western partners, such as the European Union and the United States, he said. That's less than 15% of the doses authorities have said are needed to end the mpox outbreak in Congo, the epicenter of the global health emergency. Following mpox outbreaks outside the African continent in 2022, wealthy countries quickly responded with vaccines and treatments from their stockpiles. However, only a few doses have reached Africa despite needs from its government. We move to other parts of Africa after this break. Please, review.
Broadcasting is what we'll bring to you.
Now we be this our Anyabela, now we be this this is Hillstv. Now we be this our
Hillstv, Polka.
This is Hillstv.
Quality broadcasting is what we'll bring to you.
Now we be this our Anyabela, now we be this this is Hillstv. Now we be this our Anyabela, now we be this this is Hillstv.
Hillstv, Polka.
This is Hillstv.
Quality broadcasting is what we'll bring to you.
Now we
Welcome back. Prosecutor pursued death penalty for 3 Americans in Congo coup plot. Prosecutors on Tuesday called for 50 people, including 3 Americans, to face the death penalty for what the Congolese army says was a coup attempt earlier this year. Military prosecutor Innocent Rajabu urged the judges to sentence to death all those on trial except for one defendant who suffers from psychological problems, the defendant whose trial, opened in June, faced a number of changes, many punishable by death, including terrorism, murder, and criminal association. Drought-stricken Namibia plans to cull over 700 wild animals, including 83 elephants, and distribute the meat to people struggling to feed themselves. The Environment Ministry says the cull will take place in parks with communal areas where officials believe animal numbers exceed available grazing land and water supplies. In addition to elephants, animals to be killed include hippos, buffalo, and others. The ministry says the drought has seen an increase in human-wildlife conflict, and the culling will take place in an area with high levels of friction, particularly with elephants. Southern Africa is facing its worst drought in decades, and the United Nations says Namibia last month had exhausted 84% of its food reserves. Nearly half of the population is expected to experience high levels of food insecurity in the months ahead. Animal rights activists have, however, raised concerns about the culling, which they say is being undertaken without an assessment of the economy or environment impact. They are suggesting the call in this election may be politically motivated and have started a petition calling for it to be stopped. Up next is business. Please stay with us. Welcome back. On business news, the Nigerian government, including the federal and state government, plans to spend 100 billion naira in finance to import electricity meters into the country amid metering gap challenges. Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu disclosed this while addressing broadcasters in Ibadan, Oyo State recently, noting that this was under the Presidential Meter Initiative program. According to him, President Bola Tinubu's administration has been making efforts to close the meter gap in Nigeria, adopting various initiatives. He added that the World Bank decided to support Nigeria with the procurement of almost 2 million meters in the next 2 years through the Distribution Sector Recovery Program. One of Libya's dwelling authorities unilaterally fired the country's powerful central bank governor in an abrupt move that is likely to inflame tensions in the divided North African country. The Presidential Council in the capital of Tripoli, which is allied with the government of Prime Minister Abdul Hamid that controls Western Libya, removed Governor Sadiq Al-Kabir, according to a decree issued. In his place, the council appointed Mohammed Abdul Salam Al-Shukri, an economist and former deputy governor, as the new governor of the Central Bank of Libya. Al-Kabir had led the central bank since October 2011, the year that Libya was plunged into chaos after a NATO-backed uprising toppled longtime dictator Muammar Gaddafi. Still to come, sports. Please stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. And on sports news, the Nigerian Premier Football League has increased the salaries of match officials in the top flight. The referees' salaries were increased by 50%. NPFL chairman Benga Elegbeleye announced the rise in the indemnities of match officials. The move is to ensure fair and credible officiating in the NPFL. Elegbeleye stated that negotiations were ongoing to secure air transportations for referees and players. Defending champions Rangers will trade tackles with El Kanemi Warriors in the opening fixture of the new season on Saturday. Former Arsenal star Emmanuel Petit has urged the Gunners to sign a new striker, winger and midfielder before the summer transfer window closes at the end of the month. Petit believes the three key areas would increase their chances of winning the Premier League this season ahead of Manchester City. Arsenal retained David Raya on a permanent deal after loan spell last season and signed Ricardo Calafiori from Bologna and Michael Merino from Real Sociedad. However, Petit feels Michael Arteta's side will still need to make three crucial signings. And that's the sport news on Africa Today. We move to the rest of the news after this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Now to the rest of the news. Kenya police officers in Haiti face paid delays 2 months after Kenya police officers landed in Haiti. They are yet to receive their deployment allowances. Reports state that families of the officers were unable to take their children to school due to lack of pay by the United Nations, which approved the deployment to Haiti. About 400 Kenya officers landed in the Caribbean nation for a multinational mission aimed at supporting the Haitian police in its fight against gangs. The UN supports but does not manage the MSS mission. It established a trust fund which is facilitated voluntarily from donor countries. Main contributors are Canada, France, and the United States of America. During an interview, the U.S. ambassador to Kenya deployed Tuesday the pay delay and said the officers will be remunerated by Friday. And that's Africa Today. But before we go, here are the headlines again. We told you that President Tinubu to visit China seeking economic cooperation. Governor Ododo appoints new 12 permanent secretaries in Kogi. NAFDA clarifies saccharine use in bread production. And on sport, NPFL increases March officials' salary. Remember to visit us on Facebook at Hillstv Abuja, Instagram at Hillstv Abuja, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Hillstv. I am Jessica Magaji Joseph. Thanks for watching.